Today's video is all about the shoes. If you are a runner, this video is going to give you several excuses to go buy a new pair of shoe. And if you're like me, I'm always looking for a reason to try out a new running shoe. In this video today, I'm going to go through all of the different types of running shoes that are currently in my lineup, all the different shoes that I'm using for different purposes, different types of runs. So let's get right into it. The first shoe that is up is going to be my Ultra Escalante. And the Ultra Escalantes are a wide toe box shoe, and they are a zero drop shoe. That means from the heel to the toe, there is no drop or incline on that shoe. They are also a pretty minimalist shoe, meaning they don't have a real thick sole. They don't have a high stack. You can really feel the ground. You get a lot of response. Here's how I personally use this shoe. I like having the Ultra Escalante in my lineup to help build calf, ankle, tibialis, the front of my calf, shin, that whole lower leg to the ankle to the foot. I like having this shoe as a tool to help build strength in all of that. If you're a runner, you're going to need strength in those areas. And I think this shoe helps enforce that. Now you have to be careful with this shoe. You can't just start out and go run. If you haven't run in one of these shoes before, you can't just take off and run 10 miles in it. And I don't use it for that. I throw in this shoe once or twice a week. A lot of times I'll use it in my warm-ups or maybe for the first half of a base run. And literally just using this shoe as a strength tool. I rarely will actually do a whole run in it unless it's a real short run, but I will use it sparingly. It is also, because it's zero drop, it has very minimal pressure on your knees when you run. A minimal drop shoe or a zero drop shoe like this is going to put a lot more. It's going to put a lot more strain on the calves. It's going to put a lot more strain on the ankles and less strain on the knees. So I tend to have knee pain, not really injury type of knee pain, but my knees just take a lot of stress. I'm quad dominant. I get runner's knee. So these are a great shoe. When I'm running these, I have like no knee pain hardly at all. And this shoe helps me to work on my running form. I notice when I run in this shoe, it really helps me to dial in my running form. Then when I switch from this shoe to another shoe mid-run, so sometimes I'll carry another pair of shoes with me. When I switch out, I can feel the difference. My stride is so much better after using this shoe. I feel like it almost auto-corrects my running form. Now, that's just me, but that's how I should have this shoe, and I always want to keep one of these minimalist zero-drop shoes in my running shoe lineup. The next shoe that I want to talk about, the Adidas Adios Pro 4. Now, this is a carbon plated, or they have carbon rods in them, and so this is a race shoe. I'm not going to use this shoe a lot in training. It's very rare that I actually do use this shoe in training, but I will mix it in, especially if I have a race coming up where I'm going to use this shoe. And this is ideally my preferable shoe for a race. Now, I'm not a super fast runner, and some people would say that you really need to be running within a certain pace to really make this shoe useful. But I will say, as somebody who's not a super fast runner, for distances such as like half marathon, I still this shoe provides a noticeable difference in my pace. I can tell the springiness of those carbon rods really help make my run feel more efficient. It requires less effort for me when I'm wearing this shoe. And this was actually my very first carbon plated shoe. So it has carbon rods, not carbon plates. But nevertheless, this is my first one, so I don't have a ton of experience with them, but I like the shoe. I keep it in my lineup. And if I am going for a super fast run, I'll throw it in there maybe from time to time. I will use it leading up to a race a couple times just to be used to the shoe. But this shoe is super springy, super fast, not a lot of stability there. Feels a little squishy, wobbly around turns. But other than that, this is a very, very fast. This is the fastest shoe I own. This is my road racing race day shoe. The next shoe in my lineup is the Nike Vomero Plus. This is one of my long run shoes, one of my high cushion shoes. This shoe has a stack height of 43 millimeters and a 10 millimeter heel to toe drop. So this is a really nicely cushioned shoe when you are going out on them long runs. Now, to me, this shoe does feel kind of bulky. It does feel slightly heavy compared to some of my other running shoes, but it is nice to give you that cushion on them long runs, or if you're just doing a base run but your legs are kind of beat up. A lot of times this is a nice high stack height, actually has some nice kind of propels you forward, has a nice glide to it as well. This shoe does have a 10 millimeter heel drop, so because of my knees, I will use this shoe somewhat sparingly because it puts a little more pressure on my knees. Now, this is an ideal shoe if my Achilles and my calves are beat up, my feet are beat up a little bit, and I want to shift some of the pressure away from my calves and onto the knees. This is a fantastic shoe, so I keep this shoe in my arsenal for that reason. If my feet, calves, tibialis, all that are kind of beat up, I will absolutely pick this shoe to go for my run in, and it will help alleviate some of that, help me get in my long run or my base run or whatever it is. But predominantly, I'm using this as a long run shoe. Next up is going to be the Brooks Ghost 17. The Brooks Ghost 17 for me is 100%. It's kind of like a daily base run shoe. I'm not using this shoe for any fast runs. I'm not using this shoe for any super long runs. Just them base. Okay, I'm going out, I'm running 3 to 6 miles, not at a super fast pace kind of run. Now, this shoe does have a 10 millimeter heel to toe drop like the Nike Vomeros. So when my knees are beat up, I am steering clear of the Brooks Ghost. I do keep the Ghost 17 or the Nike Vomero usually in my rotation, running once to 2 weeks, just to stay used to a shoe that has that kind of heel to toe drop. But of course, I'm going to be very aware of how long that run is going to be if my knees are beat up. Now, ideally, if my calves are beat up, Achilles beat up, especially from like doing box jumps, a lot of box jumps or double unders in a CrossFit workout, and then doing running too. A lot of times CrossFit plus running, yeah, your Achilles, your calves will get beat up. And this the Brooks Ghost 17s with that 10 millimeter heel to toe drop is really nice for that. I also actually like pairing this shoe with if I have a CrossFit workout that has running plus some type of squatting that's not like super heavy and I don't need tons and tons of stability, I'll actually wear these Brooks Ghost 17s because they do have that 10 millimeter heel to toe drop. So they really help me hit a decent range of motion when I'm squatting. And to me, this shoe has enough stability that it feels fine if I'm not using like a super heavy weight. Like if I'm doing thrusters or anything where the weight's going to be, under 185 pounds, then I honestly find this to be a great shoe for those type of CrossFit workouts as well. The next shoe in my rotation is the Hoka Bondi 9. The Hoka Bondi 9 is my current favorite long running shoe that I own, and I will keep this one in the rotation until I wear it out. But I do love that it has a 43 millimeter stack height and the heel to toe drop is 5 millimeters. So it's a little bit lower, or half of that 10 millimeter heel to toe drop. And I find that for me, a 5 millimeter heel to toe drop is the sweet spot. It does not irritate my Achilles. It doesn't irritate my calves. It does not seem to irritate my knees. And somewhere around that 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter heel to toe drop is just a real sweet spot for me. So I find that the Hoka Bondi 9 is fantastic. I will throw this out there. If you go to buy the Hoka Bondi 9, if your foot is even slightly wide, I recommend going with the wide. I never get wide shoes. I had to go with the wide on these. I tried on the ones that weren't wide, and it felt like they just felt super, super narrow. And I looked them up online, and a lot of people that don't buy the wides end up with tears prematurely, pretty soon on the sides right here. And I think that's where they have too wide of a foot and the shoe's just too narrow. But these have been a great, comfortable shoe so far, and I can go out and do my long runs in these, and they really seem to protect my knees to where in joints to where I can still squat and do all my CrossFit stuff that I need to do and still continue to build for my long runs. Yeah, overall, pretty solid long running shoe there. Got the Last Souls Ultra on behind me. 2 people left. Mark Dowdle, of course, and another guy from Germany. They're the only ones left, so I got to keep an eye on that. See who's going to fall out. They are at 542 kilometers as of right now. Loop number 81. Crazy. Next up, the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. This is my Hyrox shoe. I looked up all the top Hyrox shoes out there, and it seemed like this shoe was the one that had the least amount of negative drawbacks to it. Lots and lots of people love the Puma. Some people like the Mizuno. There's a certain Mizuno that Rich Ryan loves and wears. I really wanted to try that shoe, but it looked like it had a high stack height, and I was just a little bit concerned about that for Hyrox. So I ended up going with the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, and this is, for one, it's carbon plated, so this shoe feels really fast. And again, for me, somebody who's not a super fast runner, I still clearly notice the benefits of this thing picking up my pace. Now, I rarely use this shoe in training. I will use it to push the sled, to make sure I can push the sled. One reason I picked this shoe, the grips on the bottom, they do not look that great, but the grips on the bottom are legit for pushing the sled. I did an outdoor Hyrox event, or a mock Hyrox event. It was in the morning, in the summertime, dew all over the turf, and was able to push the sled pretty nicely. Had no problems with sliding, slipping at all in this shoe. It grips great. Another reason I selected this shoe is because it is super lightweight, very, very breathable, and it has an 8mm heel to toe drop. So I didn't want a super high heel to toe drop on the shoe, especially for like doing lunges. And again, I don't really love a high heel to toe drop for running because of my knees, but I wanted something higher than like a 5mm, 6mm. So with this 8mm, it's going to give me a little more range of motion when I'm doing squats. So I thought that was really important for doing wall balls. And this is a great feeling wall ball shoe. I'm telling you, I mean, there's tons and tons of bounce. You get good range of motion. And I really so far have loved this shoe for Hyrox and hybrid style running, hybrid style racing. Again, I don't really use it in training much because it does have that carbon plate. Throw it in every once in a while just to make sure that I'm used to it. But this is an all-around phenomenal Hyrox shoe. Next up is the Nike ACG Zagama Trail. This shoe just came out in the summer of 2026, and I went ahead and grabbed this shoe because of the couple things. For one, the high stack height, or fairly high stack height for a trail running shoe. I wanted something with a lot of cushion, so that way when I am going out there on them trail runs, I could really protect my knees and have a nice soft ride. The lugs, it's got some pretty nice lugs and grips on it, so this would also be a good trail running shoe for technical trails. And I don't do tons and tons of trail running right now, so instead of having 2 different trail running shoes, I opted just to have something with some nice lugs on it, some nice grip on it, so that way I can wear it on every type of trail and not have to worry about that. It's got a nice cover here so you don't get rocks and things, you know, down in your shoe, which is kind of cool. And for me, I loved that it had a 4mm heel to toe drop. Again, that's right in my sweet spot. A little bit low, I think 6mm might be slightly preferable. I do notice with this shoe a little more pressure on the Achilles, on the calves, on the tibialis. And I will say, if you get this shoe for the first quite a few miles, make sure you break this shoe in well, because it will eat your calves and your Achilles and your tibialis up when you first start running it. But overall, still love this shoe and keeping this shoe in my lineup until I need to add us. This shoe is a little heavy. It's a little more bulky. To me, it's like a long run trail running shoe. Or again, like I'm going on a base trail run and I'm trying to, you know, I want to be protected. I want to be highly cushioned. And until I may add a faster trail running shoe in the mix. But right now, I like the way this one looks too. It's just got a good look to it. Nike, of course, has a pretty slick design here. Very, very breathable shoe, good for the hot summer. And last, but certainly not least, finally, my favorite running shoe that I own, the Adidas Evo SL. I absolutely love this shoe. If you ask me to pick one shoe to run in, it'll be this shoe. I think this shoe could do it all. Well, trail runs might be trail runs and high rocks aside. You could do high rocks. People do the high rocks in these, but I don't think the bottom is super great for the sled push. But as far as like daily base runs, tempo runs, any kind of speed run, threshold runs, racing, long runs, it don't matter. I think this shoe is phenomenal. I absolutely love this shoe, and I have run over 10 miles in it and haven't pushed much over that. Maybe it starts to get uncomfortable like that, but up to that point, just fantastic shoe all around. I not only want to wear this shoe running, I literally want to wear this shoe out everywhere. And I love buying all different types of shoes, right? Love a good excuse to buy different shoes. But honestly, I'm starting to come to the conclusion that I may end up having multiple pairs of the Adidas Evo SL. 39 millimeter stack in the back. And then it's got a 6 millimeter heel to toe drop, which is right in that sweet spot for me. I mean, the foam just feels like it absorbs shock so well. And the way this shoe rolls, it just rolls and glides so nicely. I'm a 200 plus pound guy, depending on the day, depending on what type of training I'm doing. And this shoe feels fast. Every time I go to reach for a shoe in my closet, I've got a lot of other nice shoes. I'm always looking for excuses to buy shoes, but I want to reach for this shoe. If I do not feel like running at all, guess what shoe I'm grabbing? I'm grabbing this one because I can put this shoe on, and the moment my feet hit the pavement, it makes me feel like I actually want to run. And that, speaks for itself. So I was super excited to share my running shoe lineup with you. I would love to hear more about what your favorite running shoe is, what your running shoe lineup is. Please drop that in the comments. Would love to hear about it. Are there any running shoes that you bought that you just did not love? I'm going to throw something real controversial out there right now. I did try the Asics Super Blasts, the new Asics Super Blasts. I thought they looked super cool, so I wanted to try them out, and did not love them. Ended up actually selling them on Depop. So ended up letting them go, letting them ride. Maybe I should have given them more of a chance, but yeah, had to let them ride. So that's probably a little controversial. I know a lot of people love that shoe. And yeah, if you have a shoe that's a 10 out of 10 recommendation, let me know. Because again, it gives me an excuse to buy another running shoe.